Good evening. We're going to get started here in just a minute. Hope everyone's staying warm. It was 72 degrees today here, so it was not hard. Right. Seven o'clock in Texas, guys. Thank you for joining tonight. I hope we can maybe do some more live streams like this in the upcoming future. But for now, we're just going to transition over there and say good evening to everyone. A show 1 minute after 7, so we're going to get going here. Ham Radio 2.0 Sunday night live stream. Thank you for joining tonight. Happy holidays to everyone. A couple of quick announcements here. Let's see. So this week, I got a lot going on this week, as most of you probably do. So I have my regular video premiere tomorrow, and then starting Wednesday, I'm going to do daily live streams. I'm going to do my Wednesday lunchtime live stream at noon on Wednesday. And then I'm going to do lunchtime live stream on Thursday and Friday. And I've got a special guest coming on for each of those, different special guests for each of those 3 days. And we're going to do something. We're going to do a lunchtime live stream on Saturday. We might kind of do a free-for-all type thing. I haven't decided exactly what to do on Saturday yet. Everything's going to have a theme to it. And then on Sunday, a week from today, that's Christmas Eve, I will not be streaming. You guys spend that evening with your family and have a good holiday. But I will be streaming on Sunday morning, as I've done for like the past 2 years, I think. I think it's about the past 2 years I've streamed on Sunday morning. And I'm hoping to do some 10-meter FT8, because we were doing FT8 last year, and I think we did FT8 the year before that as well. Not sure exactly. I didn't go back and watch the one from 2 years ago, but I glimpsed over the one last year. So 10 meters has been up. I would really like to do some 10-meter FT8 on Christmas morning, so I'm hoping to do that. But more importantly than that, we're going to be doing a giveaway Christmas morning of 2 Yaesu radios, Yaesu B-Stock radios that I got from Main Trading Company. An FTM 400 XDR, one of the later models, FTM 400. Dual band fusion, system fusion radio, and an FT891. Now, these are B-Stock radios that were refurbished by Yaesu and sent to Main Trading Company. They have a 90-day warranty through Main Trading Company, and you can buy an extended warranty through Main Trading Company if you choose to do so. So I'll send you some information about that to whoever the winners are. 2 radios, 2 winners. We're going to give those away Christmas morning. hamradio2.com/Christmas23. is that URL. And Frank, that's the same one you had last weekend, so hopefully you still have that. He can hear me in the background. So you guys get signed up over there. We're gonna do a Merry Christmas to 2 different people that morning and give away some radios. That'll be fun. You do not, for some reason, people have been asking me in the Discord and on the comments of my shopping video where I mentioned it last Friday, do you have to be present to win? No, you do not. You don't have to be present to win, but you do have to reply to my email. Because every time I do a giveaway of at least 2 or 3 or maybe 5 or 6 items, I have at least one person, sometimes 2 or 3 people, who I emailed. They sign up on my email list for this giveaway with the email address that I assume is correct, and I email them if they win, and they never reply. And I'll usually email them 2 or 3 times, and if they don't reply, if you don't reply, sorry. I mean, that's just, there's not much I can do about that. So I'm not going to force you to take a free item. I'm going to do another giveaway with it later on. In fact, I've got a couple of things planned for January for some stuff that wasn't claimed from the last giveaway that I did. So we will be talking about that after the first of the year. So daily live streams this week. no live stream on Christmas Eve next Sunday, but live streaming Monday morning, Christmas Day, probably at like 7, probably pretty early, maybe 8, 7, 8, something like that. I don't know. For probably like an hour, not more than an hour. I don't want to take away too much time, but we will be doing a giveaway, so I hope that you guys will have time to join me on that. If not, catch the live stream replay and I'll email you. Whoever the winners are, I will email you. And the only way you would miss out is if you don't reply to the email. So, yes, Dawn, that would be freaking cool. Dawn says I should buy a main trading company and give it away. I don't mean this in a bad way, but nobody wants that. Nobody wants to give away. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It would be a really, really, really fun project. 2-hour drive for me, Paris, Texas. That would be fun. But, yeah, that's the thing. 45, if we're already on the mailing list, do we need to enter separately for this giveaway? Yes, because this is a totally separate mailing list. So how I do all of my giveaways is very simple. I create a brand new fresh mailing list that has nobody on it. I have people sign up on that list to do a giveaway so that I have all of the people who signed up for this giveaway in one place. And after the giveaway is done, I take that list and I add it to my main email list. And the way the email lists work is it doesn't duplicate anything. So if you sign up on the new list and you're already on the old list, when I merge the two later, it's going to see that as a duplicate and it's not going to email you twice to the same address. This is how all email services, all legitimate email services work. But yes, you do have to sign up at the hamradio2.com/Christmas23 email list, even if you're on one of the previous email lists. I don't combine those. I always do them separately so that I know that all of the people on this list signed up for this giveaway. That's how I do it. So, yeah, but don't worry about duplicate email. And there's always an unsubscribe button at the bottom. Again, the way that legit email lists do. There's always an unsubscribe button at the bottom. So you can unsubscribe anytime you want to. But yes, you do have to sign up again. All right, let's get Frank in here. I think he's chomping at the bit. What's up, man? How are you?
Doing good, man. Having fun in the chat. Making
Good.
fun of Digital Rancher a little bit. It said we were talking about him in my supporter call today. And today was the recording of my all-hands supporter call. So if you were a supporter, you were invited to join me in the month of December. And we hang out and chat. We went about an hour, and almost an hour and 20 minutes. It was fun.
Good. Excellent. That sounds great. So, yeah, he was in, he was on some live stream I was watching the other day. I forget where it was. Maybe it was, I don't remember.
Wasn't on mine. I need to get him on.
No, he was in the chat, I mean. He was in the chat on some live stream I was watching.
Oh, we're all over the chat.
I don't know. I don't remember. Yeah.
But I was talking to him about coming over and helping me install the junction boxes for the ground system, and also help me run wires, because I need to get up above my 2-story house, and that's like a 30+ foot, and I'm scared of ladders that high.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
If I was younger and spry again, man, I used to be all up on that. Hey,
all up on there.
I'm looking over the 3-story roof on that slant. Yeah. So what are you drinking today, buddy?
Oh, man. I'm glad you asked. I am drinking Three Nations Brewing, which is in Carrollton, Texas, just a town, couple cities over. Gingerbread ale. So it is like a yam ale, I think. But it's a tasty gingerbread flavor. So definitely a Christmas beer. Nice. They came out with this a year or two ago, and I liked it. So when they came out with it again this year, I went and grabbed some.
So this is Red Empire bourbon, and
cool.
Pipe Dream is called. I forgot where I got this bottle. But bourbon, my rule is once you hit the quarter mark, it's time to polish it off, because it will start rapid aging in the bottle because there's so much air. So it's usually good for a while, and then once you get to the half point, it's time to start really drinking. But once you hit quarter, it's time to invite friends over and knock that baby out.
Thank Michael. That's he had a membership milestone. He says if I buy a main trading company, he will move down here and run it for $250,000 a year.
Ha!
It sounds like a deal.
Do
sounds
it.
like a pretty good deal.
You can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. No, I've talked to Richard about that. There's no way. There's no way. It's not what I want to do. It's not what I want to do.
You tried. To be honest, you tried a brick and mortar store.
Yeah, for a short period of time.
Yeah.
It's not what I want to do, but I tell you what, if someone else buys it, then
you can do
let me know. Yeah, we can do some advertising, some YouTube videos for that. So that would be fun. So, but that's the thing.
And my Christmas tree card holder is starting to fill up.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. That's your arrow antenna.
I got a couple of fan cards up there.
I got a couple in this week. I think they're all just kind of sitting on my desk. I haven't done anything with them yet. I should.
I love it. I love it.
So, yep. Okay, so tonight we're talking about winter prepping. Now, it would pretty much happen that winter prepping technically winter starts in 4 days. December 21st is the official first day of winter. So winter hasn't technically started yet. And it was 72 degrees today in North Texas. And we haven't really had much cold this year during the month of December. Up at the hunting lease, I think I've hunted one morning when it's been below freezing. It was 29 degrees one morning last weekend when I got up, but it's generally been in the high 40s, low 50s most mornings when I wake up and like 30, 45 minutes before sunup and I walk out to the deer stand. So we haven't really had much cold, but the point of tonight's live stream and the point of this whole prepping thing, and I'm using I'm using the term prepping pretty loosely here. My point with tonight's live stream is to get you guys thinking about this. This stuff that I thought about after the fact, after the Texas winter storm, the Snowmageddon that happened in February of 21, which will be 3 years ago this coming February.
Mm-hmm. And a little last year. It wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad last year though. Yeah. But I went back and rewatched that live stream that Frank and I did in February of 21 and kind of refreshed myself on some things. And I put together a short presentation tonight, and I would like to know what you guys think about this. But this is the thing. You don't want to wait until it gets cold and say, "Oh, okay, let's put together our prepping plan. Let's put together our plan for what to do if the power goes out. What to do if so long story short, for about 4 days in Galveston in February of 21, we were without power for about 4 days. It came back on like day 2. Like it was off for a good 48, 50 hours, and it came back on for like 4 hours. Then it went off again for like another day and a half, and then it came back on. It was fine. But we didn't know. I mean, we didn't know if it was going to go back off again. We didn't know that for a while. So we were without power. We were without water because there were water lines breaking in the city, and the city turned the water off. And then after they turned the water back on, they said it's non-potable water, so you have to boil it before you drink it or cook with it. Mm-hmm. So we were living on bottled water for 3 or 4 days, which is not a big deal really. And then and since I was in Galveston, I didn't have a lot of the stuff with me I have here at home, so I was not prepared. And it doesn't usually get that cold. It doesn't usually get that cold in Texas at all. It doesn't get that cold down south. On the coast, Galveston, they were in the low to mid 20s, I think, in Galveston, maybe in the high teens. I don't even remember. It was like 9 degrees at one point here at my home, but I wasn't at home.
That you bring up an interesting point. Maybe we'll come back around to it. How much prepping do you want to do in a second or house?
Yeah, I talked about that in a little bit in the live stream that we did 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Not much, but what I have done since then is I have put a bunch of stuff in my truck or on my roof rack of the truck or added it to the bed of the truck that when I go on road trips now, I have like some extra stuff that I didn't have back then. Mm-hmm. Some very, very minimal stuff, but I mean, minimal is better than nothing. Mm-hmm, so it really kind of depends on what you're doing. So
does that include, we'll table it for now.
Okay. Yeah. So I'd be interested in what you guys have to say about this and, any other suggestions that you might have. Randall says, Oh, hold on. That got away from me. I bought a 75-watt generator to test it every few months. I do not have any confidence in the Texas grid. Well, that's... Randall, if I'm not mistaken, you live down in, like, Corsicana, Ennis, Corsicana area, if I'm not mistaken. So, which is about an hour and a half south of Frank and I. So, yes. No, I don't blame you there. That's great. I am slowly working. And I'm slowly working on getting battery backup systems put in my home. Ooh. At the very least, I have just about everything I need to get the ham shack running on complete battery / solar power. So that's
solar with all that snow and ice we had.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's face it. Okay, it doesn't usually snow, or it ices
once every 4 years.
It doesn't usually snow much here. And if it did, then, I could take a broom and brush off the solar panels on top of the ham shack. It's not that tall, But yes, I mean, that's my plan is to get. I have a battery backup system. Mm-hmm. I have solar panels. I have a few other things that I'm going to be adding to the ham shack to make it and I just want to do it just because, hey, my ham shack's off grid. Woohoo! I mean, why not? It's ham radio channel, so I think that'd be fun to do. It'd be easier to put the ham shack off grid than it would be the whole house. So that's what I was shooting for here. Okay, let's see. I'm just looking at the chat here. Let's see. Brownsville? I don't know what you're talking about.
Mike was saying down by his area it was sunny for the big freeze. When it was freezing rain. Solar would have worked great for him.
Right.
But that's freezing rain. That's different than the ice covering your solar panels. You can't really do much. If you get a hammer out, you might damage the panel.
Well, yeah. No. You wouldn't want to hammer ice off of a panel. But yeah, it was sunny in Galveston too. It was just cold. Mm-hmm. And there wasn't much rain. There wasn't much rain that time. It was mostly just cold temperatures. We slept outside in our vehicles underneath the house. So the house is raised up on stilts. There's no covering on any 4 of the sides of the house. So we slept outside. One of the things you do have to be careful for is carbon monoxide poisoning. There were people that would running generators inside of their home to run a heater and get warm, but they died. There were people that died in Texas that weekend, during that week. It was like a Monday through Thursday thing, that from carbon monoxide poisoning because running generators at their home. So you got to be careful with that. You got to be
number of people. Yeah,
you got to be cognessed of that.
Why did y'all sleep outside at night? It wasn't that bad. I just curled up in a big blanket.
It was down there. Well, we were without power longer down there than we were up here. So it was easier
up here. I think my house.
It was colder. My
house was in the low 40s.
Ours was in the high 30s down there, but high 30s, low 40s, something like that. But it was cold. It was cold inside, man. It was cold, and you got to remember the house is on stilts. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have the ground insulation underneath it,
and you're right off the ocean.
And we're right off the ocean.
Yeah.
And it was just easier to sleep in the car with the engine running and the heater running on low. In fact, I usually turn my heater off and just after you get it warmed up, you know.
All those dogs clawing all over you.
They went to sleep. They went to sleep. It wasn't a big deal.
The door chick, it was 35 in the house. Okay,
that's about right. I was thinking 38, but she's probably right. Yeah, she's probably about 35 in the house.
But now we pretty much have sleeping blankets or sleeping bags down to freezing.
Yeah. Well, see, I didn't have any of that stuff with me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any of that stuff with me.
All right.
So I've got basically 4 categories that and let me say something real quick about radio. This is a ham radio channel, right? And I went back and looked at my live stream, and then one of the things that I'd kind of forgotten about, but not really, but I gathered a little bit more. I did a refresher on it by watching my live stream from two and a half years ago. AT&T service was down. We could send texts back and forth, and they would not. My wife and I are both on AT&T. It would take an hour. She might get the text. I send her a text. She might get it immediately, and it might take an hour. So texting is usually the lowest bandwidth. It was not possible to make phone calls, not possible to pull up websites and do data at all. Later, like a week or two later, we found out that they had done that on purpose. AT&T had done that on purpose so that police and fire personnel could use the 4G and 5G service. And we didn't know that at the time. We just thought, oh, it's down because ice storm got to one of the cell towers, or it's oversaturated because everybody's making phone calls, something like that. I don't know. There's probably a little bit of that, but Verizon worked great. Verizon data worked fine because I have a tablet on Verizon. So phone service was down on Verizon and on AT&T. So radio was perfect for communicating across the island. I've monitored. There's a simplex frequency down there that's used quite a bit. I was monitoring that. There's a couple of repeaters on the island that have battery backup, and one of them's at a hotel, and I don't think they ever lost power at the hotel, so that was monitoring that. And another repeater at a fire station in Jamaica Beach, I was monitoring that. Not much activity, but it was there, and I would key up and throw my call sign out every now and then just because. So radio was definitely used and more reliable than cell phones for the 3 or 4 days that happened. Now, I will say that you should probably look at getting some radios that are USB rechargeable somehow. USB, micro USB, USB-C, USB-A even. 12-volt direct charging radios that you can charge from a Bioenno or from a battery box from some sort of power pole port. That's actually what my video that I'm premiering tomorrow is about. So I'm not going to dive too deep into that right now. But yeah, have some sort of portable chargeable radio, at least one, 2 or 3 if you can. Some sort of off-grid chargeable radio where you don't have to plug it into AC power. Because sure, you may have a gas generator, and that's great. But, conserve your fuel sources as much as possible. And use your solar panels and your battery packs to charge the radios because it doesn't take very much. And it's, kind of a thing with that. So I got 4 categories besides radios, which I'm not going to really get into tonight. But this is stuff that more like, kind of like stuff that I learned from that last one. And stuff that I have spent the last 2.5 years slowly but surely building up in my inventory and my either an EDC pack or on my truck or in my garage at home. I've got a closet upstairs where I keep some stuff and stuff like that. So this is stuff that I've just kind of slowly been accumulating over the last 2.5 years to to prepare for something like this that happens again, which quite frankly, it's not supposed to be a very bad winter in Texas this year. That's what they've told us, but I don't know. We'll see. Now, since when they can't predict what the weather's going to do next freaking week, so they can't really tell us. I don't really believe anything they're going to say.
We can make an educated guess.
Guess. That's what it is.
It's still a guess that we're going to have. Now, Texas, these big freezes and everything happen in February, and maybe sometimes late or early April, January, February, or March.
Early March, yeah.
Early March.
So
odd for us because unlike the rest of the country, they're getting out of it in February.
Yeah. Yes, correct. Yeah. In fact, there were several years in a row, shortly after we moved into this house, 3, 4, maybe 5 years in a row, where it snowed in North Texas on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
And I was thinking this is weird because it's like February 14th, 15th, and it's snowing again. It's like the 3rd or 4th year in a row. And I got pictures of my dog. When my wife and I got married in 2002, we each had a dog, and we brought it so we had 2 dogs because we each brought a dog into the marriage. And I have pictures of them playing in the snow. We got married in January. It was that next month. And I think it was that next year as well. That it snowed on Valentine's Day, and I got pictures of them playing in our backyard in the snow. So I was like, they don't get to see snow that often, so because it doesn't snow that much in Texas, but it does snow. It does snow, or in North Texas, I should say. The Panhandle, it snows more often. But yeah, that's the thing. So these household items are items that I have picked up, and I've actually got. If I go over here, I have, and I will share this link real quick. This is I built an Amazon idea, what they call an idea list, and I put most of this stuff in an idea list right here, so you guys can go check that out. I just shared the link to that in the chat, and be interested to see what else you guys want to add to this. So water of some sort, whether bottled or stored water. The picture of this guy right here is a water jug that I bought 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, something like that. It's these Camp Max 5-gallon water jugs. I've got 2 of these sitting in my closet upstairs, my supply closet, I call it, upstairs. And filled them with water, and they're ready to go. I change them out every now and then, but you know, I mean, like literally, we were without water for about 2 to 3 days in Galveston, and then when they did turn the water back on, it was not potable. But they were saying to boil it, and I tried to get Gaston, the tech prepper, to come on tonight's live stream, and he had a conflict, but he said he's like one thing. Yeah, good idea, Dom.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, he's like, so people don't think about the fact that if it's snowing, you can boil snow. And take snow, put it in a pot, put it on the stove, and boil it, and it becomes drinkable water. And I'm like, that's a good idea.
Yes, but it's so inefficient.
It is.
That is your last desperate thing to do for water.
Correct.
Because it takes so long and so much snow and wastes so much fuel doing it.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. But if you got to boil water anyway, then, you know, I mean, it's better than nothing. What I would like to find, I still haven't picked up yet, is a desalination filter. Because the Gulf of Mexico is right there in Galveston. And I could have totally gone down to the Gulf and picked up salt water and put it through a desalination filter and had drinking water. Now, it's probably not very... I've never used one of those before. It's probably not very tasty. But in the event of having water or no water, it would certainly work.
Jason says, avoid the yellow snow.
Right. Yeah, obviously. So, but yeah, so that's that. Yeah, so the household items, water, bottled or stored. We were buying cases of water to have in Galveston. There were certain stores that were open with power, so we would go in there and buy cases of water. They were stocked up pretty well. One thing we didn't think about until after the fact was candles. Candles are a great source of light in your home if you don't have power that doesn't burn batteries. Okay, batteries are fine. You can burn a candle for a week and a half. Some of these tall candles will burn for days. Of course, you don't want to leave them burning when you're not there. You don't need to burn them during the day. You probably won't put them out as you go to sleep at night because you don't leave lights on at night anyway, generally. So, you know, you're not going to be burning them for 24 hours solid unless you live somewhere that doesn't get any sun. But candles are a great source of light, and they don't cost any battery power, so you don't have to worry about recharging them or anything. But candles, batteries, just regular old AA, AAA, 9-volt batteries for various items. I've got a package of batteries that I put on my Amazon wish list or the Amazon idea list. It's just like, hey, let's just have some batteries on hand for whatever. Doesn't matter. Just have them on hand. And then flashlights and blankets. One thing we didn't really think about much in Galveston was blankets because it very rarely gets cold down there. And again, we don't live there full time. So we had some blankets. But we didn't have as many blankets as we had at home. So so you want to make sure you have, wherever you're going, if you're going on a trip, if you're traveling, if you're staying somewhere different than where you're living, have an extra blanket or a couple blankets. So space blankets are cool. Those are good to bundle up in. But just like, you know, if you're going to be sleeping in a bed in your home, or in a hotel even, without power, you might want an extra blanket or two if there's no heater going.
A couple of points we're talking about. The chat's going crazy with water suggestions. What I do, I haven't done this in a while, and actually I've thrown out all my water because it's gotten stale. I need to repurchase gallon jugs. I put the date I purchased them, and then the second date of 2 years. And that's when I dump them out. And when I say dump them out, I dump them over my yard and they use the water there. Right. But then I will rotate that gallon jug every 2 years. So that is my stored water because I have 4 gallons of water I save here at the house. That's what these are here, except they're 5-gallon jugs, and I just fill them from the tap. I mean, because I don't really care, guy. I drink tap water all the time. I'm not a big gotta be bottled water. I don't really care. I actually hate
I mean,
individual bottled water. I just get those jugs just because
right.
they're easy, they store amazingly, and
Yeah.
they can be
Hmm.
portable very, very fast.
Yep, that's true.
And I don't have to worry about cleaning them out. I puncture them, I drop the water on the yard,
Hmm.
and I recycle the thing. As far as making water usable again, I have the iodine droplets. You just drop the little drop in the
Yes.
water
Hmm.
and give it 30-40 minutes, and it's pretty good. Also use a filter out your water before that. I like that method is because it packs small. So I have that in my emergency first aid kit. A lot of people,
Yes,
Don out
I do
there
too.
said life straws. Life
Yes.
straws are good, but there's some things they don't filter out.
Hmm.
Plus, you got to provide a lot of sucking power to get water through there, and it's annoying. Um,
So
and
I have a lifesaver jerry can,
mhm.
and it's got a filter in it. It's got a filter in it that will filter out. It filters out everything the live straw does, plus one other thing. I forget what there's one thing the live straw doesn't do. It's either like bacteria or it's like I forget what it is.
Well, that's okay. You
But that's
filter through a first filter, and then you use the
right.
iodine tablets and
Yeah,
knock out the
yeah,
bacteria,
yeah,
or you boil
yeah.
it.
And I've got stuff like that in my camping pack, and I've got stuff like that. Another suggestion that Gaston had was people don't think about you go down in the garage or your storage shed or wherever and break out your camping gear and bring
Yeah.
your camping gear inside: sleeping bags, lanterns, battery powered this.
I was going to cover that if you covered the kitchen.
Camping gear. Yeah,
That's what
propane.
I
Well,
did.
I'm yeah, I'm going to get to that
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
little
yeah.
bit. So yeah,
So let's punt
but
that.
yeah. So that's one thing. Yeah, ice your beer down in the washing machine. That should be probably James is right. That's probably first priority, really, realistically.
No,
So
if it's cold outside, put it outside.
yeah, put it outside. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no doubt.
Empty your fridge and put it outside.
That's right. I mean, the other thing you want, and the things that I have got, and I keep one of these. I didn't have one of these little handheld generators. I actually did. I actually had it. A lot of this crap is at my hunting lease. Well, that doesn't do me any good if I have an an emergency at home or in Galveston or something like that. So I took my little 2,000-watt generator, Champion. I like these Champion generators. They're good. They're not as good as a Honda. They're about half the price of a Honda. Jury's still out whether they last as long as a Honda if you take care of them. But if you don't want to buy a Honda, buy a Honda. They're probably better. I'm sure they're better. I'm sure
They're
a Honda's
quieter.
better.
Quieter.
No, these little ones are really quiet. These little Champions are really quiet, just like the Honda. The Honda might be a few decibels quieter. It's not that noticeable of a difference, I don't think, but a generator of some sort. So I keep one of these in the back of my truck pretty much every time I get on the road and go on a road trip. I'll throw the generator in the back of the truck so that if something were to happen, if I was stranded somewhere, if I need to go camp, or if I'm going camping on purpose or something like that, and I got to have a generator, I can power an air pump to air up my tires. I can power battery chargers to charge batteries, something like that. So I do the generators. So gas powered generators, solar power generators, power stations, this kind of thing. The Jackery, or I'm sorry, not Jackery, the EcoFlow stuff I've been talking about recently. Solar panels, lithium iron phosphate batteries, battery boxes. I've got battery boxes coming out my ears now, which is not a problem. I don't mind that. But just through making videos on battery boxes and power stations and whatnot, I got kind of a plethora of this stuff now. So I'm like, well, once I make a video, what do I do with some of this stuff? And I've given some of it away. But I'm like, ooh, I should build a pack and put it and just leave it in the RV. And I should build another pack and just leave it in Galveston. And then I've got stuff at various places that I go commonly. And if I ever need anything down there, I don't have to worry about having it with me at all the time. Although most of the time I still have something in the truck too. But, instead of if I go down to Galveston, this happens again, I've got something in the truck. Well, I've got an extra one now at the house down there. So now I've got two instead of one. So that kind of thing. So power's a good thing, whether you're doing solar power, whether you're doing gas powered, even wind power. I'd like to have like a little wind turbine on top of my house that helps with charging the battery system, that kind of thing. I wouldn't run, depending on where you live. You might be able to live on wind power 100%, but generally speaking, you're going to want to have wind power as a supplement to something else.
I see. All renewables is supplement.
All renewals. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. RJ, it's 2150. 2100 will work. That's the old address. They changed the address at some point in the past, and I never updated my QRZ because they'll both work. Technically, it's 2150.
I missed that.
Oh, he asked if is my address 2100 or 2150. It's 2150. It used to be 2100, and then they built they rearranged the numbers in the buildings. But kerosene heater, that's a good idea. Lawnmower says kerosene heater. I don't own one of those, but that's a good idea. I'm going to get to heaters here in a minute. So like Berkey water filter systems. We have one for the house and one for the RV. Filters water, rainwater off the awning. Off the awning. That's a good idea. Sean, send me a link to, if you're in Discord, send me a link to whatever one filters water off the awning. I don't know if that's a specific model or something or what that is, but
RVs. Because I've seen like rain gutter barrels, like 50-gallon barrels that you could put under your rain gutter to collect the water too.
Yes. Very, very true. Very true. In fact, I'm gonna pull something up real quick here. Let's see. Boom. Have you guys ever seen this book right here? And let me know, because I picked this book up a while back and then I lost it. I put it in my house somewhere. I couldn't find it. I found it now. I know where it's at now.
I was about to say you regifted it to someone.
Yeah. No, I didn't. No, I've still got it. No Grid Survival Projects. So they show you how to build a rainwater catching system, among other things.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff in here. It's got like
that's 150 gallons. Wow.
Yeah. So there's like 40 or 50 projects in here. I thought it would be freaking cool to just go through and build all this stuff. We're going to do a video series on building this today, and then move on to the next thing, and then move on to the next thing. It'd take you like 2 to 3 years to do everything, because you wouldn't want to spend all the money at once, because it's going to take some money to build a lot of this stuff. But this is cool stuff in here, man. They show you how to build a greenhouse. I've been wanting a greenhouse in my backyard for the last couple of years. But this is a cool. This book's. I've read through this book, and I've got 2 or 3 things that that I would like to eventually see, to eventually build in here. Mm-hmm. And I think this is just a really cool thing here. So I just put a link to that in the chat.
That was the one picture. It had the toilet with the sink on top. We were talking about earlier gray water. So when you wash your pans and everything, if you're in a water restricted environment, that is toilet flushing water right there. You take
that's true.
Take a Spartan bath. Just take that water and use it for the toilets. Why put good water into a toilet? Man.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, just fill up. Just use the water when you're done with it. Put it into a bucket and then go pour it down the toilet after you use the toilet. Just set it there next to the toilet, because it just fills up the tank and then it auto flushes itself. It's a good idea. I've heard that before. It's a good idea. It's not something I had on this tonight, but that's
we're talking about water.
A good idea. Yeah. There's a lot of ways to conserve water. I mean, if it's raining or snowing or even sleeting, you can easily set out rain barrels and catch rainwater like that. And if you feel like boiling rainwater, you can. Some people drink rainwater. I think it's probably fine, but most of the time. But
my mom has 4 rain barrels.
Yeah,
she uses it for the garden, so the sprinkler system drains out of those for the watering her plants.
I have one that I used for that for a while. I ended up taking it to the hunting lease to use it for water storage up there. But I need to get back, and I need to rebuild that water catching system in my backyard, because that's what I was doing with it too. So Colin and VK, where did that go? There it is. I have 30,000 gallons of rainwater. My whole house runs on rainwater. Really?
Where are you?
VK? He's in VK, Australia.
Australia?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of water to capture.
That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. Interesting. I'd like to see how you do that. Sawyer Mini water filter from REI. Yes, the Sawyer Mini is the one that I have. Instead of Life Straw, I have the Sawyer Mini, or the Sawyer Straw, whatever it's called. So I have that. I have my Be Free water bottle, and I keep both of those in my camping pack. So again, get your camping supplies out and break out that stuff. for whatever you need it. There are city restrictions for catching water. I can have 3 55-gallon rain barrels. More than that, and have to register with the city and have approval from the city. Well,
yeah, yep.
I heard some states don't allow you to do that at all because they say it's not your water, even though it falls in. I don't want to get into a whole, hey, this is a communist state we're living in now, but yeah, that's stupid. If rainwater falls in your house, that's your business, not anybody else's. I'm not going to get into that though. So
that is a huge thing. But moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Yeah, yeah. Okay, the Navy uses salt water to flush. That's a good idea. Yeah, if you're next to the ocean, go out there and fill up a 5-gallon bucket of water or 5-gallon jug of water and mark it as salt water.
That's a beautiful idea.
And then put it into your house next to the toilet or something. That's a great idea. So, good. All right, good. So, the next thing on my list, as I said, there were 4 things, and Frank, you're going to like this one. So, camping gear, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
Your propane stove, propane bottle, and it's good to keep propane on hand. I have a friend of mine that lives down in Mansfield. He's one of my patrons, and he says he has a dual fuel generator. And he said he switched. He used to keep like 10 or 15 or 20 gallons of gasoline in his garage, and he kind of got leery of that for a while. And he's like, I switched to propane several years ago because propane's still flammable, guys. It can still explode if the bottle gets punctured or something. But it's not combustible. Propane's not, well, I don't think it's combustible like gasoline. It's flammable, of course. That's how it burns but it doesn't explode when you ignite it. But if you hit a propane bottle hard enough, it could. But it's generally considered to be safer. A plastic gas can versus a metal propane tank is generally considered to be a little bit safer to store. So he says he finds these propane bottles, these 20-gallon propane bottles, 20-pound, on the side there. Like, he'll be driving along and it's like, oh, there's somebody dumped one over there. And he'll find them on the side of the road and grab them and take them up to the...
No way.
To the That's what he said.
I have yet to see one.
I've never seen one. I don't know. I was like, really? Seriously? But... that's what he says. He says he's got like 10 or 12, like a dozen of them in his garage. And he goes and he fills them up and he keeps them in the garage. He goes, yeah, I use it. He goes, and I'll use them on the barbecue grill and whatnot, just to kind of get them rotated and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, if he ever has to fire up a generator to run some stuff in his home, he's got full propane to do that. So propane does usually not give you as much oomph in your generator. Like if you got a 5,000 watt generator on gasoline, it might only give you 3,500 or 4,000 watts if you're running on propane. But it will run it, and it'll run it for, I think, more efficiently and longer, and it's just safer to store overall. So it's that's
plus look at the multi-use out of it. You can cook with it, you can put it in your generator.
Right.
So you might have a heater or two to run on it, man. It's just the more things you can use for one item makes it much more valuable to have in your prepper pack. And are you done with this slide? Because I could talk about stoves here.
No, I was going to mention. Well, I've got propane stove, 12-volt blanket, and camp stove. Now, the picture of this stove here is the Blackstone 22-inch adventure-ready grill. Now, this is the one, if you guys were at Huntsville with us last year, this is what Kyle owns. This is what he cooked for us. He cooked on for us. In fact, he'll tell you that Noelle and Emily cooked all the food, but it was his grill. And I got to looking at that because he brought that to the Moore Expo last April as well, and he cooked for Shane and I at the Moore, and himself, for the 3 of us at the Moore Expo. And I'm like, Kyle, this is a really kind of neat setup you got here. And I believe he brought it to Hamcation as well.
Yep.
And he's got it folds, like the stand folds down and the grill itself folds down, and it goes into 2 different bags, I think. And he carries it with him in the back of his truck to all these shows. And I'm like, you know what? I've never been a big cook. I've never really enjoyed cooking that much.
I never knew this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's strange, right? I got to thinking about it the other day. I was like, you know what? I think I would like to cook on a griddle. So I hit Kyle up, and I'm like, tell me about this Blackstone. I know it's Blackstone. I didn't know which one it was. So he told me it's a 22-inch propane, adventure ready is the model. And And it is neat. I was reading some reviews on it, watched a couple YouTube videos on it. I'm like, I think I would enjoy cooking on this. And if it's something that I can actually use to cook, to start to enjoy cooking a little bit more, then I might try to pick one up. Now, I was going to pick one of these up on Black Friday, but he was sold out of them. And then Walmart had one. They had this one for like $184, but they were sold out of it. They got them back in around the first part of December. I'm like, okay, it's the same price. So I was like, oh, wait, I might buy one towards the end of the year. I looked earlier today while I was putting the slideshow together, finished up the slideshow, and they're like $310 now. I'm like, I'm not going to pay that for it. I'm going to wait for it to go on sale again. So I'm not in a big hurry, but yeah. So I want to pick up something like that, use it at the deer lease, take it with us to Galveston, that kind of thing. So that's the one that Kyle uses, and he really likes his. So $284 at Academy, Paul says. Yeah, it was $100 cheaper than that at Walmart like 2 weeks ago.
I think you got to go
with
the
Walmart. Stand. You just order it, have it delivered, and just go in, pick it up, and leave. So I'm okay with that. I can do that. Costco for $2.29. The Lowe's by my house has them, and I think they're $2.99 at Lowe's. I was really hoping Lowe's would put them on Black Friday special, but they never did. They never put, not, or at least my Lowe's didn't. So. Yeah, but yeah. So, and a 12-volt blanket. Somebody said a down blanket. That's a good idea. Also, down blanket, wool blanket. Wool blankets are expensive. Self-reliance Outfitters. Dave Canterbury's website. He has a wool blanket on there. It's like $200. I got one of those Kickass products.com. They sell a 12-volt blanket with a cigarette lighter plug on it, which of course I cut off and put power poles on it. And I used that blanket in the deer stand a couple times this last month. That 29-degree morning, I took that blanket with me, plugged it into my Gigaparts box, and another battery, not the Gigaparts box. I had a smaller battery box. I plugged it in the smaller battery box with my 20-amp Bioenno battery in it, and I stayed nice and warm that whole morning in the deer stand because I have that 12-volt blanket. So something that will run on not on 110-volt power. You can get regular 110, 120-volt AC electric blankets all day long, and that's great if you have a big power station. You have off-grid running on, or you have your inverter in the house and it's running on solar batteries and whatnot. And that's great. That's fine. But you can get them that are DC as well.
One thing about down and some of the microfibers, very insulated blankets, including the sleeping bags and your coats, is store them properly.
Correct.
Do not fold them up into super surprise little packet, because everything will clamp together and eventually it will stay that way and it'll be less it's less insulated. So you need to store them in a big open fluffy area. If it's a jacket or some of the sleeping bags, you can hang up nicely. It's just if you store them in a box and have stuff on top of them, they're not going to keep you as warm next time you want to use it.
So I bought I think I've told this story before. I'll tell it again and make it quick. So Adam, K6RK Adam, he has a really, really bad habit of buying stuff and then it gets discontinued. So he's got a garage full of really awesome camping gear that is not made anymore. So when we went to Yosemite 2 or 3 years ago, whenever that was, he let me borrow one of his sleeping bags, and it was an REI Sub-Zero sleeping bag. And he's like, yeah, they don't make this one anymore. But I loved it. I loved that sleeping bag. It was awesome. I used it every night that weekend we were there. So I go home and I get on eBay and I found a guy selling a Sub-Zero sleeping bag with the little camping pack that it comes in for $100. So I bought it. Perfect condition, like brand new. But Adam told me, he goes, yeah, it comes in a bag. You just kind of stuff it in this bag. It's this little bag that goes in your camping pack that packs down real small so that you can go hiking with it. Cool. He goes, don't store it like that. Take it out, lay it out, hang it up, whatever. So I keep that storage closet I was talking about a minute ago where all my water is. I keep it in there, and it's just kind of laid on top of the top shelf. I was
channeling my inner Adam when I was talking about that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, and that's a down sleeping bag, and I love it. I absolutely love that down sleeping bag. It's freaking cool. I'm sure REI probably makes some kind of sleeping bag that's currently in production that's just as good, if not better. But yeah, that's one thing that I've got. And again, if I was at home, I would have broken out that sleeping bag and been sleeping in my. I probably would have let my wife have it actually, but I wasn't at home. I didn't have that with me when I was down in Galveston 2 years ago when that storm happened. So, Dawn, thank you for the comments. Dawn says, great topic. Thanks for the research in the show. Appreciate that, buddy. Always good having Dawn in the chat. Michael says he's allergic to down, so first rely on merino wool-based layers. Typically wear them from November to late April. Here in Ohio, I'm old and usually cold. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wool is some good stuff, man. I've got 2 pairs of wool socks that I wear religiously. If I am hunting, I don't really care if it's like, well, I mean, if it's like 60, 70 degrees, I'm not wearing them. But if it's like in the 40s or lower, I am wearing my wool socks because my feet are the first thing to get cold on me. If I am sitting still, it's great if you're out at camp walking around and you're up and doing stuff and you're moving around, great. You go and sit still in the woods. After about a half hour, you start to get a little bit cold. If you're trying to be quiet and you're sitting still and you're not doing much, maybe you're watching TikTok videos and laughing your ass off, and it's it doesn't count. but no, I mean, if you're not moving around, you get cold. And my feet on me, one of the first things to get cold are my feet. So I wear wool socks almost every time I go hunting because they're awesome. Love the wool socks.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So okay, yeah, let me know if anything. So the last slide I've got is portable heaters. Now I've got this. This is a EcoFlow Wave 2, and Don's in the chat. I know he's got this one. This is a 12 volt, and you can put an extra. It runs on a battery. You can plug it into AC and run it on regular 120 volt AC, and it is a 12 volt system, so you can charge it via 12 volts, and it's got a built-in MPPT solar charge controller. You plug a solar panel directly into it. But it's got an extra battery that you can attach to the bottom of it as well. This is cool because this front vent right here is actually an air conditioner, and then the top vent is a heater. So so with the controls on the top, you can turn it on heat or you can turn it on AC, and then there's two or three vents that come with it, 2 or 3 tubes that come with it where you can the air intakes on the back side that you can't see there. So it intakes air and it blows out either hot air out of the top or cold air out of the front, depending on where you set it up as. So these are
to intake air in the area that you're cooling or heating.
Well, so there's 2 ways to do it, right? Okay, so you can if let's say we're in a tent. Let's say we're at the Moore Expo and it's cold outside. Okay, so I can set the unit outside of my tent and attach the tube. The piping tube. It looks like a dryer vent tube. It's much heavier duty than that, but that's what it looks like. You can attach the dryer vent tube to the top that spits out the heat and pipe it into your tent, and then you've got a heat tube piped into your tent. Or you can set it inside of the. Let's say it's summer. Let's say it's field day. Okay, now you can take it and set it inside your tent and let the AC blow. And when the AC's on, the heater's blowing at the same time because it's taking all that cool air. It's taking all that air, it's sucking all that air in, cooling it down. And just like your air conditioner at home does, it's got an exhaust vent on it.
Yeah.
So now you take that heat tube and you pipe it outside the tent so that the cool air is blowing in the tent and the cold and the hot air is being piped outside of the tent. So you could do it either way. You could blow the tube, put the unit outside and put the tube inside, or put the whole unit inside and just exhaust it outside. So you can do it either way. But and a lot of these the hiker trailer that Kyle is, in fact, I think he might have got it already.
Yeah, he did. He had a whole stream on it.
Did he? Okay, I missed that. He emailed me the other day, or he hit me up on Discord. He's like, "Hey, they just emailed me and they said it wasn't supposed to be ready till January." And they got it ready early for him. But it's got a dryer vent tube on. Well, it's got an option. I don't know if he got this option or not. It's got a dryer vent tube on the side of that trailer, so you can sit this thing on. Or there's other companies that make one as well. You can sit this thing right outside, like sit it on the wheel well, and run the tube out of this unit into the hiker trailer, and you can either turn it on AC. Run the AC tube into the hiker or run the heater tube in the hiker, depending on what the weather is. So, yeah, so these portable heaters are nice. I picked up one of these diesel heaters at the Moore X. This was before I had the the Wave 2, which I'm looking forward to using the Wave 2 this year. I picked up one of these diesel heaters. These are real popular in the overland community. What guys do is they they fill these heaters with diesel. They run on diesel fuel. They're fairly quiet for what they are. And that tube in the front there, they'll run a regular dryer vent tube out of there. It comes with this little cheesy aluminum tube, and the guy that I bought this from said, "Yeah, just replace that. Just go to Home Depot and get you like a dryer vent tube." So you put that outside of your tent, and you run a dryer vent tube into your tent, and you just fill it with diesel, and you start it, and that's what you. A lot of those guys with rooftop tents will have that mounted to the back of their truck, and they have it piped into their rooftop tent. I bought that at the Moore Expo and had it running outside of my Gazelle tent and piped into my Gazelle tent. I ran out of fuel in the middle of the night because I don't generally carry diesel with me. So I'm like, okay, well, I bought a diesel heater. I don't have a diesel gas can with me. So I borrowed some diesel from a friend of mine, and I used it, and it was freaking warm, dude. It was nice and I had it on the lowest setting. It was nice and toasty in that tent, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I was cold, and I was listening. I was like, I don't hear it anymore. It must have died. So keep diesel fuel with you. But you can get one of these diesel heaters as well. These are real popular in the camping and the overland community. And then of course, if you have like I have a regular 110 volt AC alternating current regular 110 volt heater in the ham shack right here that I've had like 5 or 6 years. And you can plug that into like a power station. If you have a big battery, solar generator, something like that, you can always plug it in there. That's going to suck a lot of power. Electric heaters suck a lot of power. So one of these other alternatives is probably better depending on how long you're wanting to stay where you are. But it's, whatever you got, use whatever you got type thing. In fact, what I want to do is I want to turn this heater off. This is an experiment I thought of about a month ago. I thought, you know what? This ham shack's not really big. I want to turn this heater off. I want to bring that Wave 2 in, and I want to run that to heat the ham shack. And, of course, it'll run on AC. You can plug it in and run it on regular AC current. So I'll just plug it in here at the ham shack and let it run and see how well it heats up in here. Because this heater right here, I have this thing set on 65 most days, and I'm hot. Like, I have to turn it down. A lot of times, I'll turn it down. I've got 3 computers running in this ham shack. It stays nice and toasty. I insulated the entire ham shack. I put radiant barrier on the top of the ham shack when I was insulating everything. So it's well insulated in here. And that heater at 65 degrees, it will burn me out of here. I'm like, dude, it's freaking warm in here. I'm sweating. So I usually have to turn it down when I come in here at night. And before I do a live stream, I'll turn it down 2 or 3 degrees. Nice and toasty in here, and then I'll turn it down while I'm actually sitting in here. So, but it's another option. You can run something like that, and I want to do some videos of the Wave 2 from EcoFlow that they graciously sent me and want me to make videos for about it running and heating the ham shack, and just kind of let it go for a couple of weeks and see how well it works. See how well it's 150 square feet in here, and I've got like a 9-foot ceiling up there at the peak. I've got a barn ceiling. So it goes up like this, then up like this, but at the peak it's 9 feet. So it's, I don't know how many cubic feet it is. I've never measured it, but it's a good size in here, and it's probably just about the right size for a heater like that. So I want to do some videos on that. You'll see that soon.
Don Smoke Signals RF says he's in his fishing hut right now, sitting in a t-shirt and nice and toasty. So
what's he using for a heater? What are you using for a heater, Don?
I think he said you said you're using the same one, right? The diesel one that you just had up on screen.
The diesel heater? Okay. Well, I had the battery powered Wave 2 from EcoFlow, and I had a diesel heater, but
let's see if he answers
here. Yeah. Don, what are you using to heat? I know exactly what he's done a lot of videos with that Ice Hut tent. That's where he goes and he smokes cigars out there during the clubhouse stream. So oftentimes he does. But yeah, I wonder what he's using to heat it up. So,
yeah, of course you are. Chris says,
yeah.
My buddy,
Mr. Buddy, 40-gallon propane. Okay, so that's something I didn't include on the slides tonight. I have a Mr. Buddy heater. I have the single barrel Mr. Buddy heater where you attach the barrel to the bottom and you attach a little stand to the bottom of the barrel, and it uses the barrel to sit on by itself. Mm-hmm. I've used that in the deer stand for like the last 5 years. They work great. Those little green propane bottles that you buy and use them and you throw them away because you can't refill them. Those Mr. Buddy heaters are great.
That being said, it is another thing that you use propane for.
Yes.
And reuse is key. How many
Yes.
uses you can get out of a thing. So
Right.
if more things you have for propane, the better you off. You only need to find propane. Well, not on the other hand, just being reliant on propane is kind of bad too, because what if you can't find propane? Um, but
True.
propane's everywhere. Propane,
Well, and this is part of the preparing aspect I mentioned at the beginning. Prepare now so that you are prepared when something happens. Don't wait until, well, there's going to be a storm tomorrow, so I guess I'll go tonight and buy stuff. No.
oh, they do
Buy
be there with everyone else trying to buy
exactly,
stuff.
exactly. Buy stuff now, put it in the closet, put it in the garage, put it in storage where you can get to it easily so that you have it for when this crap happens. Yeah, don't beat the rush. Beat the rush. Don't wait until the day before Christmas to go Christmas shopping. Yes, Dennis, I have the same. So we have one of the guys at the deer lease. This is not mine. He uses an adapter tube for a 20-pound propane to refill the 1-pound canisters. I saw a guy do that. I thought you were talking about, okay, so there's an adapter hose that will let you hook a 20-pound bottle to one of those Mr. Buddy heaters. So I've seen that. One of the guys at the hunting lease has that. And there was a guy at one of the Overland shows I went to last year that did that. He used a 20-pound bottle to refill those 1-pound green bottles. I've seen that done as well. I don't have that, and I think you have to, like, attach the whole thing and then, like, hold the 20 pounds up.
It's a little funky to do.
It's a little funky way to do it, but I think it only refills to like 80%. But hey, better than going and buying. Those things are kind of expensive if you buy them individually.
So talking about redundancy, I have my camping stove, my Coleman camping stove. Inside the normal camping stove, you open it up and you have that attachment that for those little green bottles.
Right.
I also went and bought the attachment to connect that camping stove to the 20-pound, the gas propane tanks.
Yes.
So and that's also stored inside there, also with a little frying pan, so I can cook and that's everything I need. So I only need the bottle or the 20-pound bottle, so I don't have to go out and find them. So that's all stored together. Multiple ways to use a thing is also key.
Right. Yeah, so I've got so I have so my wife and I bought a new one of those little fired propane tables that you have on like your back patio, and it has like the lava rocks in it, and it has the 20-pound propane bottle. It didn't come with a propane bottle, so it has a 20-pound propane bottle underneath it, and you turn it on, you light it up, and it's, you know, you got a nice warm table there in front of you. You just sit on your patio in the wintertime. And I was using it the other day. It works fine. Works good. I've only used it like twice, but I'm like, you know what? I've only got 2 of those 20-pound propane bottles. I keep one on the front of my trailer, and I keep one as a spare. So I brought home my spare, and I was using it on that table. And I'm like, you know what? I should probably pick up like 2 more of these 20-pound bottles. In fact, there's a conversion kit you can get on Amazon to convert your 1 20-pound bottle to 2 20-pound bottles on the front of your RV. So I'm going to do that, and of course make a video of myself doing that. So I'm going to need a second one there. But I should probably keep like a couple spares of that around for gas grills, for heaters, for whatever. So that's something that's something I have not stocked up on yet, and I need to go probably just get a couple more bottles to have on hand for whatever.
I like this idea. I need to come by and check it out, man.
Yeah, we need to come. We need to do some cigar smoking over here, bud.
We definitely after New Year's.
I mean,
I think we're all booked out till the end of the year.
Yeah. Are you going up to the bar tomorrow night?
Possibly, yes.
Okay.
There's something that might pop up, but you said you're headed over to somewhere else, so.
No, I said I was thinking about it. I'm probably not.
Okay.
I never did sign up, so yeah, I'm probably not. I'd probably be available tomorrow night if you go over there.
Yeah, probably will be over there at the cigar bar.
Yeah. All right. Yes, Bruce, that's what I was talking about. You can use a 20-pound propane tank directly to Mr. Buddy Heater with the hose. Yeah. Yeah, one of my of course there's several versions of the Mr. Buddy, and the one that I have sits on top of the little green 1-pound bottle. So if I was to hook the hose from a 20-pound bottle in, I'd have to lay the thing kind of on its side on the ground, so it wouldn't work very well for the one I have. But there's several versions of that Mr. Buddy heater, and you can get an adapter hose to go to the regular 20-pound bottle. That is true.
I'll probably do
Very
that so I
true.
can multiple uses.
Right.
And I did use my camping stove inside when we had that ice day. So
I remember you telling me that. Yeah. Yeah. So did you cook with it inside?
because it's just cooking on a normal stove, especially if you have a propane stove. I didn't do it much.
Set it. I wonder if you set it on top of your house stove and turn the hood vent on.
Well, how can you have the hood vent running when there's no power?
Well, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I did it very sparingly. I did cook inside. I didn't feel like going outside. But it worked. It worked quite well. And yeah, if I did have the cover, I would have had it on. And I only cooked breakfast on it a couple of times, so I was fine. But yes, that's another thing you need to be wary of because there's the CO2 gas.
Right. Well, and it just, you're cooking like bacon and stuff. It just gets smoky. And outside's not a big deal, but if you're inside, then, my wife sets off the fire alarm all the time, the smoke alarm all the time. We used to have I upgraded our smoke alarm several years ago. The ones that came with this house, they used to set off. She would cook bacon in the morning, and every time. So she'd go down in the morning and she'd open the back door, and then she'd fire up the stove and start cooking. She's like, well, it's gonna go off anyway, so just kind of vent the kitchen a little bit. But it was yes, Kelly, very true. Camping stove inside a house can kill with carbon monoxide. Happened in Seattle. We were talking about that at the beginning, where people were running generators in Texas inside of their home to keep warm, to generator to run like a heater or something, and the carbon monoxide killed people for that. So yeah, be very careful. Be cognizant of exhaust fumes no matter what you're running. Carbon monoxide, smoke. I mean, even regular old smoke can kill you.
Inside.
Yeah, your car, any type of gas-powered anything, any type of, like even a diesel heater, those have exhaust vents on them. You don't want those running inside the home. So be very cognizant of what you're running. Staying warm is important, but not as important as breathing. Yeah. Good. Okay,
Man,
what else?
I forgot you were stuck in Galveston that time. Yep. Wow.
Yep.
You got another slide to show us here?
No, that was it. That was all the slides.
I'll just make it sure.
So, yeah. Once again, I'll share this idea list that's on Amazon. That's where I put everything.
Now,
and those of you watching on Team Replay, I'll put all the links in the show notes once the video's done.
We didn't talk about type of foods you want to store, because that's just another can of worms. Dry foods and rice.
That might be another. Yeah, that might be another. Shoot, you could do a whole video on that. I picked up a while back. I picked up a thing called ready something, store ready something. I don't remember what it is, and but I've got 25 days worth of food, dry freeze dried food that would feed I think it's 2 people for 25 days, and the shelf year on that is like the shelf life on that stuff's like 20 years.
Yep.
So so that's in my closet upstairs.
Ready Wise, there's Mountain something or other. There's several
Mountain House.
Yeah, Mountain House. There's several companies that do that. I have a couple boxes of that. I used to, back when before I was doing all this keto, keep a couple of cans of like canned ravioli, because you just open that and it's a meal ready to eat, and it has a year or two shelf life. I was rotating that pretty regularly. Hey, this is a question from Don. He asked this a while ago. Thank you, Don, for being patient. Do you know any 12-volt lanterns that we can put power poles on and run it?
No, I don't. 12-volt and lanterns that you could put power poles on.
So 12-volt lanterns that plug into a 12-volt power supply that we can cut and put power poles on. Then we just run them off our own batteries.
That's a great idea. I would like to see something like that. You guys have heard me talk about the company LED Lenser. They make some battery-powered lanterns and like very like keychain size all the way up to like, desktop size. And they're charged via USB. They got a proprietary plug on them that plugs into like regular USB-A.
Mm-hmm.
So those are battery-powered lanterns, but I've never seen one that is that has 12-volt power poles on it. I've never seen that.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody's ever seen anything like that, let us know.
I have a battery lantern that I charge off of the batteries for all the garden equipment I have for outside. It's the same battery.
Oh, yeah.
And I
Yeah,
bring that
I've
out
seen that.
everywhere.
Yeah.
But that's the closest I get.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool to have a 12-volt light that we just plug into everything.
Agree. Yeah. Michael, KD8GIJ, thank you for the super chat. Nice, interesting, important topic for the stream tonight as the weather starts to really turn cold. Glad I was able to join for live first time in about 6 months. Well, thanks for being here, man, and thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that. So, this is I wanted to do this before it got cold, really cold. I mean, I know some of you guys up north it stays cold all the time. It hasn't really gotten cold into, like I said, we had a day last week that was like 29 in the morning. By late morning it was in the 50s. So I wouldn't really call it cold yet. I expect it will be cold probably come February. And it'll probably be nice to get out of Texas for a weekend to go to Orlando in February. In fact, you know what? I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to go to Orlando. So Orlando Hamcation's usually pretty. Sometimes it's cold there in the mornings, at least. You get up in the morning, it's cold. But it's.
There's twice a year you need to think about prepping before the winter and before your summer.
That's true.
Because you just need to check your supplies, check everything's still in date. Check everything stored correctly. Make sure no animals or kids have gotten into your stuff and messed stuff up. Some will debate the kids equal animals. I don't have any, so I get to say that.
Yeah.
And just to refresh everything, and then maybe purchase a one new toy for you almost every year to just keep filling out your collection. And definitely keep checking your expiration dates in any food storage you have, because you don't want to get to it and want to use it and then realize it's 5 years expired.
Right.
And then you're thinking, do I? Not I.
Yep, that's correct. Yep. Paul says prep in June for hurricane season. That's probably a good idea.
I think that kind of be covered in the before the summer, because hurricane season's right after the winter or during the summer. I think it's during the summer.
Yeah, we have of course our house in Galveston is two rows off of the Gulf of Mexico, and we always have to kind of be aware of what hurricanes are coming up into the Gulf. So we've had some good storms come through there before. But you know what? We don't live there, and if we did live there, we'd probably just be like, hey, there's going to be a hurricane here next week, so let's plan on leaving like 3 days before that, just head north. So.
Hey, do you want to highlight Smoke and Signals RF latest chat? He said those 3 beautiful words.
Oh, tank is correct. Yeah,
tank is correct.
I see that.
Then Prep Ham Paul says, remember for Texans, preparedness tax-free weekends in the spring. And that covers generators, tarps, stakes, some tents, and other prepping supplies that are tax-free. Check the listing, because sometimes there is caps on the item's cost to get that tax-free. But I've bought many of things during tax-free weekend, and that I use year-round. I just bought a new tarp out of tax-free weekend, but what are you gonna do? You need a tarp. You're gonna need a tarp.
Correct. Yes. So let's see. Let me find that. Douglas, any suggestions for LiFePo 4 chargers? So Gigaparts makes some LiFePO4 chargers that go along with their PO4 power boxes. You can pick those up. Oops, sorry. That's not right.
While you're pulling that up,
yeah. So Gigaparts makes some that are right here. You can save a 5% discount with the code of KC5HWB on those. Honestly, and those are good. Those are good. They make like a 6 amp and a 15 amp. But these ones that I would go on, either somebody that sells Bioenno stuff, Chameleon sells Bioenno, Ham Source sells Bioenno. I think Gigaparts and those guys sell them too. But I go on to Amazon and find the 6 amp Bioenno charger. It's small, it's lightweight, it's quiet, doesn't make any noise, and it's 6 amps. You just plug it in, charge it, go to bed. Just do that at night and switch out your batteries every night, so you can do that. So Bioenno charger, that's a 4 amp right there. They've got a 2 amp, a 4 amp, and a 6 amp. The biggest one I think they have is a 6 amp. So I can find there's a 2 amp right there. I'm not seeing the 6 amp version right now, but they do have one, and I would probably just pick that one up. I have 2 of those, and I use those all the time. I use them to charge my battery box. I use them to charge my Bioenno batteries. I use them to charge my LiFePO4 batteries that are not Bioenno, that just have poles on the top, because you can get them with alligator clips, and if you haven't put power poles on them yet. So yeah, what were you gonna say, Frank?
2 comments. Lawnmower saying, if you're gonna buy dried foods, now is the time to be picky about your dry foods you want to buy. Buy something you're actually gonna eat instead of I would eat it if I get hungry enough. Because you're gonna put it off and put it off and put it off, and being hungry and losing energy is something you do not want to have in a emergency situation if you're trying to survive, or actually try to repair and do a lot of things, because you're going to be exerting yourself in a disaster type scenario. So you want the calories, you want something you're going to eat. Then Ham Radio Wilderness, Frank, my other Frank buddy out there, he's like, wait, you get tax-free weekends? And I answered him, I think the second Bush started them when there was a surplus in budget in Texas. And we have a number of them now. I think there's about 3 or 4 of them, and his answer to that was another reason to hate taxification or taxi Florida, California thing. Anyways.
Yeah.
I can't agree with the point about buying food you want to eat, because being low on energy is the worst thing that you can do, and it just spirals out of control. And now is the time to be picky.
It's always and kind of the whole point of this stream, and the idea I was trying to convey at the very beginning and throughout the whole stream, is now is the time to be picky with all your prepping needs, because you can go get, because it's not an emergency right now. Well, I mean, unless somebody has a winter storm this weekend that I haven't heard about yet. Where I'm at, where Frank's at right now, it's not an emergency right now. Now is the time to go get the stuff that you think you might need, maybe, hopefully not someday, but go get it now, because there's probably plenty of them in the store. Once the storms start, once the weather starts to drop, once the people get out and be like, hey, there's a storm coming tomorrow, I guess I should go buy stuff today, it's going to get picked over real quick. Well, go buy it now before you need it, and prepare for that eventuality, because we're going to have another winter storm in Texas like that at some point. It might be 10 years from now, but I mean, it's it's one of those things where you'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So the mantra of every concealed license holder, you'd rather have it and not need it, rather than need it and not have it. So
my Don and N5 SKT is saying any dielectric or diabetic friendly dry foods. I don't know. I found some keto brands out there, but be prepared to pay more for specialty dietary dry foods, or you can make your own. You can make your own, and buy a freeze dryer or dehydrator and make your own foods. It will go bad quicker than the off-the-shelf stable foods, but that means you got to rotate in a food you like to eat because you made it. So every year you get some good jerky. That sounds like fun.
Yep. Very true. Very true. So good.
I'm sure there is. There's
It would surprise me if there's not, and if there's not, I would contact. Mountain House was at the Overland show in Colorado that I went to last year. And I went and talked to them, and I said, look, man, here's what I do. I have a YouTube channel. I shared it with him. And he seemed kind of, he's like, you know what? We've been thinking about reaching out to influencers. And I'm like, there's this thing, and I very briefly explained to him what Summits on the Air was, what soda was. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's the kind of thing. And I think I emailed him, and we just never got together. But they seemed at least receptive to suggestions of how to market their products better. And I'm like, you know what? If no one is making freeze-dried keto food or diabetic-friendly food or celiac-friendly food or something like that, some kind of thing that people will need, if the first company that does it is going to be golden, you're going to sell a crap ton of it. So, might as well do it before someone else does it. There's $1 million idea for you right there. So
it's very hard with those dietary. It's very, very niche.
Yeah.
Now, one thing is hard, especially in our built medication system, is trying to be prepared with medications, because they're not going to issue any extra pills. I take blood pressure medication, and you pretty much have to say, oh no, I lost the entire bottle, and they will reissue it for you with a little bit of a pain, and then you rotate your stock that way, because the pills they give you, depending on what your medication is, are stable for a while. I have an extra bottle of pills that I go through. So when they renew, I just put that one into the shelf and I take the old one down. And so it's a constant rotating stock. Now that works for me. Your mileage will vary on this one depending what the medication is, but I had to pony up a good bit of money. Like, you lost that whole bottle the time you got from the Walgreens to your house. I'm like, yeah, it fell out of my car. I guess.
And I recorded a video that has not posted yet. You guys will see that soon, but I'm talking about a mystery box I bought, and it comes with this little pill bottle thing. And 2 types of medication that I have with me at all times. I take an acid reflux pill every morning, which is just prescription strength Nexium. So I can go buy Nexium off the shelf. So I usually keep an extra bottle of Nexium for me, to just have on hand. But the two medications that I have all the time, every time I travel, I keep some in my EDC bag. I keep some in my RV. And I have a bunch at home, obviously. Benadryl and Tylenol, because Advil doesn't work on me. My system's weird. I understand that. And really, when my allergies kick up, the only thing that really works is Benadryl. And yes, it does knock you out, but at least when you wake up, you don't have the sniffles anymore. So I would love to find some sort of allergy medication that was non-drowsy that actually worked, but I've yet to find anything that works as well as Benadryl does. So, but yeah, Benadryl and Tylenol, I have it with me all the time. And I have a rotating stock of that because, you keep it with you in different places, and you actually need it sometimes. So, but those are my things that I like to just make sure I have everywhere.
We didn't really talk about prepper mentalities, because you got to go into prepping of what you are trying to prepare for. I think, and I'm not going to get into this, but let me just share this real fast. I think everyone needs to be a 7-day prepper, because with any national emergency or any emergency in your area, it is not going to affect the nation. It's not going to affect people 200 miles from you. We have systems set up to come in there and help you within 7 days. And I think everyone needs to be a 7-day prepper. That means 7 days worth of food, 7 days worth of water, 7 days worth of medications.
Yes.
There is no emergency stop from catastrophic world-changing events, and at that time you might as well give up the ghost anyways.
Right. Yeah.
But 7 days, and then the services will be there, because I volunteered for these services, and that's what they are trying to be there. They're trying to be there within 4 days. So if you have 7 days, that's a 3-day grace period.
True. So,
Dennis, I love it. I totally agree.
no, we need 7D days worth of ammo. 7D days. Or at least that's what I tell myself, and I've pretty much talked myself into that anyway. So yeah. No, this is thank you for joining tonight. This was a fun topic. I really enjoyed talking about this kind of stuff. I've got a couple more topics that are similar to this that I'm going to do sometime probably early next year. So, and I might do something for hurricane season is a thing. And we're always watching hurricane weather because we have rental property down there. But, it would be really cool to see take your journal, your notebook or something like you keep notes with, and put write down on the frequencies for the hurricane net. They run hurricane nets on HF, on All-Star, on Echolink All-Star, and or probably System Fusion D-Star and all that as well. But HF hurricane nets would be great to monitor those if you're in the hurricane area and something's coming your way. Be great to listen for information on that as well. So yeah. All right, Frank, I know you want to talk about your stuff, so go ahead and take a minute and do that.
Thank you very much. I have coin sales on sale. Well, they're being sold right now. This is the last chance you're going to be able to get them. After the New Year's, they're going to be taken down, and I don't know if they're going to return. So go ahead and get your coin now. I'm less than 20 left. Can't wait. Thank you all, everyone who bought them. I do appreciate it. I have sticker packs on sale over at Grapevine Amateur Radio, and look at that boonie hat. That's a high quality boonie hat. Over there on Gigaparts, search for Tank Radio and you'll find my boonie hat. I also have a great hoodie that you see behind me. That's over on Jason's Grapevine Amateur Radio. Search for hoodie and you'll find it, man. But thank you to everyone who spot coins. I really do appreciate it. Help support my channel and keep me doing what I'm doing and coming on and saying hello to y'all. And Don said it again. Frank is correct. When I'm correct, I'm correct.
Yeah. So once again, those of you who were not watching at the beginning, I appreciate everybody who joined. On Christmas Day, I will be doing a live stream first thing in the morning, like I've done for the last 2 years. I believe this will be year 3. It's either going to be 7 or 8 in the morning, my time. I don't know yet. But you guys just watch the channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell notification. You can get notifications when I go live. Sign up on the email list, and I will send an email out about it as well. But we're going to be giving away 2 Yaesu B-Stock radios that morning, 2 different winners, 2 radios, 2 winners, an FTM 400 XDR. It's a Yaesu refurbished from Main Trading Company, and a Yaesu FT891 Yaesu refurbished from Main Trading Company. 90-day warranty on these radios. Extended warranty is available for an extra purchase if you choose to do that. It's up to you. And we're giving those away as a Merry Christmas to you guys. So sign up at that link that Tank just shared in the chat. So appreciate you guys being here tonight. These streams are always fun. I really like these informational type sharing things. And I'd be interested to see if you guys have any suggestions. If you think I totally missed something, please do put a comment in the video, not in the chat, but in the regular video, and we'll do something else in a couple months and maybe catch up some points that we might have missed. We could talk about this for 6 hours and probably still not catch everything. So we're not gonna always be able to catch everything.
You
but
can
this
go
was
down rabbit holes on this.
Yeah, totally. So that's it. So 73 to all, thanks so much for joining. And guys, have a lot of stuff happening this week, so be sure to subscribe to this channel, Frank's channel. I know Mike is doing he's going to do his 7-hour live stream on next Friday night.
Ooh.
So I don't know if
7 hours.
I don't know if he's going to go for all 7 hours again, but we'll talk to Mike about that between now and then.
I'm thinking of a Christmas Eve live stream. Or it might even be Christmas Day, depending how things fall. But one of those 2 days, I'll do a live stream. Watch my Twitter and YouTube channel. I will announce it, and I will say, let's do this again. It was fun. If you say Sapphire during the contact, I will send you a QSO card with a Sapphire sticker.
That's awesome. And Ham Radio Happy Hour on New Year's Eve, the way we've done the last 3 or 4 years. So mark your calendars for that. We will do Ham Radio Happy Hour. And We'll start probably about 10:30 p.m. Texas time, so we'll bring in the New Year for you East Coast guys, and then we'll go past midnight Texas time to bring in Central Time New Year's as well. So look forward to that. It's always a fun stream.
I can't guarantee how sober we'll be.
Right. I'm not. Yeah. I'll have a few, but I'm not going to have that much. So
I keep saying that. I'm always hungover the next day.
Well, yeah. All right, 73 guys. We'll talk to you all tomorrow. Everyone have a good one. Later.